So guys, welcome to the Burr Podcast Show. This is our very first show. It's been in the making for quite a time. You're live now with me, Owen, aka the Burr, and my co-host
Shaun Scullion, aka don't have an aka yet. Do you know what? We'll go with the handsome stranger because nobody knows who I am.
We brought Shaun on for his technical knowledge. He's very, very savvy in social media and all up to date with all sorts of trends and hashtags and things. Shaun, what does the podcast come live on?
Google, Apple, Stitcher. Found that out.
What?
Oh, hey, I am on it. See, the last time we done the practice running this here, you asked me and I didn't have a clue. So last night I was Googling, how do you find a podcast? How do you listen to a podcast?
So Shaun, I said, tell Shaun, do you want to be on a podcast with me? And we will host our podcast is going to be more like a morning breakfast show. We'll discuss things that have happened during the week. We'll recap. We'll have guests on. And we'll cover a variety of different things. But when I asked Shaun, he says, "Oh, I'm up for that there. What is a podcast?"
I've never been one to shy away from taking a chance on something.
But
and yes, the last time you asked me, I did say, "What is it on YouTube?"
Yes, YouTube, which we obviously we're live on YouTube, all the social medias, all the usual outlets, the podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, everywhere you normally listen to one, you will find us. What can people expect, Shaun?
From me?
From us and you and
you're probably going to bring the content. I'm going to bring the crack. Well, everybody knows you already.
Wait a minute. You're going to bring the crack. I'm going to bring the content, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, one other thing we forgot. Obviously, there's not just us. There is people behind the camera. We have
That's right.
Aidan here, aka the Face for Radio. Young Aidan is in charge of lighting, cameras. Aidan, he is the producer, and good man, Aidan. Shout out to you.
Technical genius.
If you don't make me look good next week, it won't be in. I'm only joking, in. So the three of us have been doing a couple of practice runs of this. We've been setting this up. I've been maybe a bit OCD in how I wanted it to turn out, but I think it's time to get going.
But the studio looks class.
Look at it. Check it out. But we're here now, guys. We're going to recap things that happened during the week. We're going to talk about things that we like and enjoy and annoy us and people that really piss us off and stuff like that there. But the main thing that I wanted to sort of start with, that people might have had a stereotypical view of what we were going to discuss on the podcast. That's, from what they've known from me through the page would be high octane rugby or something like that there. But it's not going to be like that.
Anything, everything and anything.
Everything and anything. Me and Shaun are experts in all fields.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I would. Confidence,
yourself there?
Confidence is high. Yeah. No, people from all different walks of life. We discussed this, that who would want to bring on different people, from professionals to medical experts to social media experts.
But also our good mate, Keelan, that I watched at the weekend as well.
He's on next week.
Would like to get a chat to him.
Yep. Shaun told me outside that he thinks he could take him.
100%. I might not say that till him whenever he arrives here.
We'll size him up.
I need to size him up.
But well done to Keelan there last week.
Yeah, good on him.
Surely it's a title shot, but we'll get talking to him about that next week. But he's local to here. We will be speaking to a lot of local people. Aidan has spoke to a couple of influencers. Big influencers.
I know nothing about influencers. Sorry guys, sorry for all the influencers out there.
This will be good.
Yeah.
This will be
as
good.
Owen said,
we could bring in anybody, right? And stitch Shaun right up. Tell them they're an influencer and something, right? Bring them in and then get Shaun to start asking. He'll be like, so what is it they do? And we'll just fill you with shite while you be sitting there thinking that this is some person.
Well, I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. I will literally be on YouTube or Google or whatever the hell you go on to find these people.
Research. Influencers. Shaun, you probably will become a big influencer now when the show takes off.
Do you think so?
Well, I could picture you now promoting fake tan products.
So let's get on to this then. So everybody knows who you are. The famous bear.
The bear.
Nobody knows nothing about me. Well, not that nobody knows nothing about me. People that know me know me.
Well then, Shaun,
But viewers may
shoot
not
from
know.
the hip. Who is Shaun Scullion?
And where did our relationship blossom?
That sounds very gay.
You love
But,
it. You love it.
you know, you go first.
Yeah. We have been childhood friends from what age? Probably 2 or 3. Grew up beside each other. But my background is I'm an engineer. I've worked in an engineering firm for the past 21 years or so, but I'm also a firefighter.
Fireman.
So I am.
There hasn't been a cat stuck in a tree in Cookstown since Shaun Scullion's been on. No, but I know.
But all joking aside, we've had a call to a cat up a tree.
Like that
Sounds funny, like, but yeah, cat up a tree.
On a more serious note, you've seen some shit in the fire service.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's. Can you go?
But look, it's part and parcel. Look, you have all the good things, you have all the horrific things you see. But look, we'll not talk about that now. Love working with the guys, and there's actually one story that I don't know if we've talked about it or not. Did I tell you about the time that your sister phoned me?
This is fucking.
You don't know where this is going,
This
right?
is a stitch up.
So
this is a stitch up
What do you hear
because
this?
most things have been pre-discussed, but this here is a stitch up.
No, it's not. This is
Right,
a
go
true
for it.
story. I don't think I've ever told you this. So Owen's sister phoned me. I think I was
Which
only
one?
in the job. Emma.
Right. Okay.
So Emma phoned me.
Oh fuck, man.
And I think I was only in the job about a year. So I was 21 whenever I joined. And got a phone call from Emma. And she was like, Shaun, you're in the fire service, obviously. Have you got the uniform? And I was like, it's down in the station.
Do not like where this is going.
Right? So it's a great story. Right? Uniform's down in the station. Hey, so at the time, Emma was running like a male strippers thing. So she organised male strippers to come to venues, right? Right?
Oh,
So Emma phoned me. Emma's phoned me up and says, one of my strippers has let me down. Would you come down in your fire outfit down to Sense, right?
Right?
I do a strip. You don't have to take everything off, like even just your top. And I was like, Emma, I am game for anything, but I'm pretty sure I'd lose my job.
You were fucking there.
Well, for the viewers out there, I wasn't there, but yeah.
All I have to say is a lot of baby oil. Well, fuck you, because that was a stitch up, and you had definitely saved that one for here.
Well, it was in the pipeline. It had to come up at some stage.
There's a plug for Emma if anyone ever needs a fucking stripper. There you go. Did not even know she was doing that, so there you go.
Well, that was many moons ago.
And 21, Shaun, I think you joined the fire service 100% to pull women. Because tell the people the truth or not, the very first Halloween, true or not, when you joined the fire service, what did you dress as?
No, what did we dress as?
No.
Right?
Chuck and Larry.
Chuck and Larry. That was some crack too.
That was good crack. But
Aye.
now, I definitely, when I looked round, I was firing out a lot of fireman lifts, like I was now.
Yeah.
But
I like to be original, you know.
that's the
Dressing up
jokey
as
side
a-
of it.
Dressing up as a fireman.
There has to be a more serious side. Like you've seen some, like we have discussed some of that. You've seen some bad things too.
Yeah. But I think for the first show we'll leave all that. But look, see, as far as being out in fire calls and whatever else, and even the people that you work with, like the likes of the air ambulance guys, like some of the calls that I've been on them guys are absolutely amazing at their job.
We're down at the air ambulance next week for the draw. Last week for the appointment, we pledged £1,000 of the air ambulance. So we're down there next week at the base. The reason I'm going down is Logan, my young cub, is mad about helicopters. So we're going to go down. Probably shit himself if he hears one, but we're going to head down. Amazing crew, and we will talk more in depth about things like that and things about here as we go on, and as the show progresses we'll have that. We will be keeping it lighthearted most of the time. Our view on things is only our view. Now we are, the one thing I say to you is beware what you open yourself up to.
I was going to say 9 out of 10 times would be right, but 9 out of 10 times we're probably going to be wrong on what we're talking about, no?
100% I'll be right every time. I would say if you go over all these shows from here on out, like I was right 100%, confident. I am right 60% of the time, nearly every time.
Do you hear you?
So we'll go over things. We'll discuss things that happened during the week. We'll recap. We'll have our wee segments in the show, and we'll have a bit of crack. And we'll not look, guys. If we say something that offends you, we have a dedicated email response.
And we will not answer it.
Do you know the email?
Yeah.
What is it?
bearpodcast.com.
But it's actually, we don't give a shit at Bear Podcast. Send it right through, and one of us will get back to you. We might even read it out, but we probably will offend. I 100% know that I will offend people. I see it on some of the random comments I get. On obviously there's trolls and people troll. Well, like
what's a troll?
A troll is somebody that's not very happy with what way their life's going. So then they see a mouth like me on Facebook and they're like, well, let's give him shit.
All right.
Because for them 2 minutes, I'm superior to them. We get some funny stuff, We do get some fun. Some boy wrote in when we're doing the penthouse in Cookstown. What would a penthouse be doing in Cookstown? It's a shithole. I wrote back to him saying, you should buy a ticket for it because you could do well with coming out from under that bridge. But no, you'll get that, Shaun. You'll open yourself up to that. Some people may not believe you're a handsome stranger, or some people may actually, you might get a wee fan club going.
Brilliant.
And if you also, we have an email address for Shaun's fan club.
What is my email address?
The handsome stranger at thebearpodcast.com. But look, we will recoup and then we'll go over things and we'll have people on. And if there's things you would like to be us to have or discuss or be spoke about here,
I can't wait to get people on.
I know.
I think that
they'll be better cracking than you.
No, stop it.
But no, listen, it won't be a specific genre. I wouldn't pigeonhole us because I would say, well, we will try and speak to most people. People we don't even share the same views with, and we'll probably think, oh, they're a fucking asshole. We'll get them up on and find out, and then when they leave, we'll go, aye, they are a fucking asshole. That confirmed it. We'll be nice and polite to you when you're here and you get a cup of tea, but no, who would you like? Right, let's go. If you had your dream person to interview, to bring on anybody, who would it be?
Who would I bring on? Famous,
anyone.
Don't know, you're putting me in the spot there now.
I'd bring somebody like controversial, like Donald Trump or something.
No, you couldn't listen on that.
I could 100%.
See what you see on TV. That's what you get here.
I know, but like, there's a part of me likes him, right? There's a part of me likes him, and then there's a part of me like he's a nut, like, but like, there's only one man I know in the world could turn around and say in political terms, he goes, just grab him by the pussy, and then turn around and the next speech goes, it was just a bit of locker banter, and like, and just shrug it off, like,
and that was it.
That was it, done. And I'm like, well, fuck me, what a legend, like, because in this everything is a cancel culture. You can't say anything.
PC.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not going there. We'll probably discuss different things at different points, but it's soft. They're soft. Like.
What's soft?
The generation, just everyone's like, even my own cub, like, he goes to me the other day, Daddy, I fell. Phone the doctor. Phone the doctor. Like, Jesus Christ.
I can imagine you going to your ma and saying that, Owen.
I'll tell you better than this.
What response would you get from your
My
mom?
brother came in to my mum when we were cubs, and he says, I don't feel well. Enough of that shit, you're going to your school, right? It wasn't like, what's your symptoms? What is it? He had like rheumatic fever or scarlet fever. He ended up like 6 weeks in hospital. Now, the nurse from the school had sent him to the doctor, which sent him on to the hospital. So he left that morning, and the last thing he got told was, none of that shit, you're going to school. So you've got to see where
not a bit
where we were sent out. So there was no there wasn't a lot of sympathy. Wasn't a lot of sympathy. You would literally need to have lost an arm.
And I think I'm very much like that.
So I'd be like that too. I'd be like the cub fell or something. I'd be like,
all right,
get up the fuck with you. And then the next thing is man's coming along, hugging and kissing him, and they're phoning the doctor together. So Shaun, let's get straight into it. What has been going on this week?
Halloween week.
Halloween. Love Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Did you dress up?
Halloween is the one time of the year when girls can dress like a slut and get away with it.
That is definitely going on to something. What is it, a TikTok or something you put it on there?
It's fucking true. I don't get out much more on Halloween, but I do enjoy the fucking sweets.
Talking about sweets, what is going on with these trick-or-treat bags?
What do you mean?
So, took the 2 children out trick-or-treating,
Right.
and it was just sweets, crisps, chocolate bars.
Fucking jackpot.
Where did the monkey nuts go to?
Who the fuck wants monkey nuts?
Ah, come on now.
Now, do you remember back in the day when there used to be somebody that give you good shit? Like if you were getting good stuff, you knew the houses.
Right.
You knew the houses.
Get it.
So as soon as dark came,
Get it.
boom, get them doors and get them sweets. Because the rest of them went and bought these shitty nuts and fucked them in your bag. And nobody wants nuts like.
Do you see the type of upbringing Owen had there? He was the sweetie man and I was the poor cub sitting cracking open nuts.
No, and I'll tell you better than this. One of my wee nieces goes to me the other day. We went to a house and they give the other niece an apple and she's giggling as she's telling me the story. And I goes, what's wrong with that? She says, the apple's good for you before you get all them sweeties, and laughed and closed the door. And she's laughing as she's telling me this, right? And I just distinctly remember my cub walking past me with his wee trick-or-treat bucket with an apple sitting on top of it. So they palmed off the apple, which an apple was decent. Like, it was decent. There's people who want monkey nuts. I think was the worst thing because nobody.
I would say if you put a walnut in a child's basket, this year they'd be asking what the hell is it?
And how do you get it open? So who has them wee crackers anymore now anyway? Who does that?
I'd probably go around
you buy them open.
I would probably go around to my man Dad's house. They have a tool for everything.
But the sweets, like, they'd be so mad after that.
Yeah.
I get involved in that. Like, I would literally go through them.
I know.
You know the way every time of the year somebody's busy? Like if it's Valentine's Day, the card people are busy. Or flower people, or like there's different times of year that there's different. A dentist has to be flat out the week after Halloween.
A load of teeth cracked.
Just a refresher bar, numbing her down, forgetting the fact that you're not 10 anymore, and you have a mouthful of fillings, boom, gone. Dentist, next morning. The 100%, it's like the first skid of ice, bodywork man, flat out.
Yeah.
Because people have just put the car over the heads.
Hey, fireworks. Do you mind that year?
Fireworks, when we done it. So Shaun's a fireman, as we alluded to, right? So you would think that Shaun around these things would be a professional.
Right.
Shaun nearly took out my mother with a firework in our firework display.
That's not a true recollection of events.
Did you light a firework?
Yes.
That clipped my mother on the way by?
No. When was this?
Last year.
Ah, come on now. That there sounds like I pointed it at her.
No,
hey,
you didn't.
Are you ready for this here?
Didn't set the thing up right near her.
No, that's not how that went. Right. So
Exactly
we had everybody back from the fireworks.
We done
in your backyard.
Due diligence.
Right. So they're all sitting out
We had a wee bucket of water and
at least
sand
10 meters away from them. Right. But the firework itself was faulty.
Right.
We lit it. It went literally 2 foot in the air and bang. Now, there wasn't a child out on the street after that. Everybody was into the house. Wives, children, mothers, everybody into the house.
I had purchased these fireworks, set the whole thing up. I blamed the whole thing on Shaun. I was like, I had a fireman here. I had literally a fireman here. I wasn't out this year, so I didn't see. I distinctly remember a couple of years ago, and this was back in the day, like a long time ago. I remember I was dressed as a banana, and I was painted all yellow.
I mind that.
And I was down in the smoking area. Time had only opened at the time, so it's a local bar to us, and it was only opened, and I was out the bag. And whatever had happened, some boy in a Superman outfit, me and him got into it. Started getting a bit lippy, and we went to go at it. But I can distinctly remember in the corner of my head hearing, "Holy shit! I think Banana Man and Superman's going to have a fight." And I just remember thinking, "What the fuck are you doing on?" So Banana Man caught himself on, and away up the stairs he went. But I just think it's hilarious. Like, I've done the door for years. I think it's hilarious at Halloween when you see these ones come in the start of the night and they're all like whatever, they've went to this big effort and got done up, and then later on that night you you say, Jesus Christ, did you see the shape of Sonic the Hedgehog the night?
Hey, what do you mean? I was dressed up as Sonic.
That's exactly what I mean. But you just see ones like, did you see the hot dog lying in the gutter? Like, I mean, it's hilarious. Like the trail of destruction.
Aye, from the start of the night to the end of the night.
I actually seen a boy walking around one time and he was just in his boxers. And
oh, I know where you're going with this.
And I go, he's walking around in his boxers. And I went up to him and I was like, oh, what did you? And he goes, premature ejaculation. And I goes, what? And he goes, I've came in my boxers.
I knew that was coming.
But he obviously was waiting for people to come up to him
and ask him.
And I was like, well, fair play to you, because you had that.
I take it that was outside the venue, not inside it. There's no way he was getting in with a pair of boxers on. Just
well, you think about it. Some of the fucking things some of the women get in. Why couldn't a man come in his boxers?
Well, true.
And no woman should be put out for that. And that guy, if that means we have to see a couple of men in their boxers, so be it. I'm happy enough for that.
So, and this is our first week here on the Bear Podcast Show. Do you want to tell us how this all come about?
Oh, right.
How did it come? What vision did you have that you were gonna, like? Obviously, you're in bear competitions.
So probably go to the start. Had an idea about starting up the competition business. I had seen one or two. It wasn't very popular back then, as you see, it's everywhere now. It wasn't very popular back then, and I was like, I could fucking do a better job of this. You know, this looks good. Genuinely thought it would be a part-time thing. Thought I would do this and concentrate on other projects. So I thought that I would do this in the meantime. Did not realise what it involved and what it entailed, and the massive under the job it took to do it. But so started up our competitions in post-COVID. Is that a thing now? You say post-COVID? Started up our competitions 2 months before COVID, before the lockdowns and thing. Then we started making videos, created stuff. We were doing stuff that nobody had done. Nobody had ever done a video about any of the cures. Nobody had ever been standing in front of the camera and talking. And I volunteered to be a mouth. And I look back sometimes at the first few, and I was like, you have to bear in mind at this point, I wasn't even on social media.
Yeah.
So start up with social media, start doing videos, start putting myself out there. We're driving GTRs. We announced that we were going to do 3 draws. What used to happen in the competition business was people used to put up one thing, and then if it didn't sell out, they would extend the timer. And I was like, well, that's a pile of shit. You want people to take a risk, but you don't want to take a risk. So I was like, no, let's go differently. So we launched 3 cars. We said to go the following week. We didn't do a big month thing. We said to go the following week. We had a launch party on the 20th of February in 2020 over across in the showroom. And we hadn't sold 5 tickets on the BMW. We had a BMW, an Amarok and a twin cam. We hadn't sold 5 tickets in the BMW. And I was like, let's show people we mean business. Because people were standing back saying, you know, it'll be like everything else, they'll extend it now. And I just done a live video. And I said, look guys, just so you know, if this doesn't sell an hour ticket, they go regardless. Nobody had ever used the term regardless or draw regardless or guaranteed draw. So he says they go, and they go next Friday, and it's a live show, and we're going to give 3 winners. So if there's only 5 tickets sold, 3 of them 5 are going to end up with this car. And then people are like, no, full of shit, they're not going to do it. Next thing, tickets started, thank God, started pushing on. Still lost on some of it, but it was a launch, so it was we had 500,000 views in the first week, back when it was organic. And then it snowballed. 30,000 followers on the page in the first week, and then people are interacting, and you're talking, you're doing lives, and fast forward a couple of years, we've done 30 million in prizes. We've 2,500 winners. We've done 7 properties. Lots of life-changing prizes. But then I was like, I enjoyed the aspect of the interaction with people. So I says, right, you know what? I love listening to podcasts. When I travel now, I'd rather listen to a podcast than music. So I was like, great. I think I can be a mouth on a podcast now too. So That's when I phoned you up, because I had loads of different ideas. I don't mean this disrespectfully. I was like, should we pull someone in? We have 280,000 followers across different platforms now. So I was like, how can we maybe translate them across to not just competition, so that I don't always want to be trying to sell something. So we were like, let's have a bit of crack and sit back. And everything I've done from my 2 years of age, and anything that was ropey or involved some sort of handling, I pulled Shaun into it. So it was the natural procession to turn around and say, right, Shaun, the podcast is up, let's go. He goes, what are we going to talk about? I was like, what shit do we always talk about? But let's make it a bit more relevant. So I think I've condensed what's been a crazy journey into a short period of time. And bear in mind, sometimes people think it's just me. There's a team behind all this here. You guys see, even to this production, there's a team behind it, the studio. I'm very perfectionist in the way I want to do this. I had a clear vision. I want this done right and sound right and done right. But that's how we came to be sitting here. And I don't care if 2 people listen to this. The crack's good.
It is.
The crack's good. And we'll plough on. We've done a couple of tests. So as we're talking, sometimes we're talking like a few. We've done a couple of test recording. We had Lee Crack. So here we are. That's my story so far in the competition side of things. It's only the start of a couple of things we planned. You've seen something we have planned, and it's absolutely mental. But we're now here, the Bear Podcast Show. Don't worry, I'm not trying to sell you any tickets. Just write in, let us interact with us, give us a couple of topics, give us something to talk about.
Shoutouts.
Shoutouts.
Sean's shoutouts. What about it?
Sean's shoutouts.
We'll go with that.
If you want a shoutout for a fellow co-worker or wife or partner or husband or whatever it is, we'll put up a wee post on the page. I'll get Aidan, the guy with a face for radio, to sort that out for us. I hope that sticks, Aidan. I hope people start calling you. We will have Shaun shoutouts. So next week when we're live, we'll read some of them out and we'll get a bit of crack going. But that is where we're at. We're here now. We're live.
Great wee background story on yourself.
And
Yours was a wee bit more in depth than mine now, to be fair.
Just while we're here, there's something I want to get off my chest. I am going to use a bit of this, I can be grumpy, so I'm going to use a section.
You can't put that on yourself there, that you can be grumpy. Right. There's no way that I've ever seen you in a grumpy mood.
Well, what we're going to do, each week we're going to have a wee section called the Bear Growl.
The Bear Growl?
The Bear Growl.
Very good.
And then, because we're not negative people, we like to keep it nice, positive and upbeat, but one part of the show where people that need to get fucking dished or called out are getting done.
You're going to give them both barrels?
Yes. Have you ever tried to phone your doctor? The fucktards that work in reception. How did they get...
Them all or some of them?
Mainly, I am stereotyping because I think they're all like this.
Right.
I am stereotyping. They are like, the doctor? You don't get through to the doctor. What's wrong with you? I'd rather speak to the doctor. Well, we need to know what's wrong with you. And I would love to at this point go, my penis is massive. Or something like that, I have an enlarged testicle. Like something like embarrassing. And
how big is this testicle?
Well, how big's your hand? But you know what I mean? Like, they're like, thou shall not pass. Yeah. You're trying to get to your doctor.
So they're looking to know so they can give you the diagnosis.
They're looking to know. And you laugh at this, right? Because I don't give a shit. I don't embarrass easy. So like, genuinely, if it was a problem like that, I would just fucking say, look, listen, my piss is coming out to the right. There's something not right? But if you take an old school, like my dad or somebody who's old school like that, if he had something wrong there and he phoned up and they're like, what's wrong with you? Thou shall not pass. I gotta go. You know what I mean? Yeah. And fucking problems could persist. They're fucktards. Genuinely, well, there you go. There's one of my wee sections. Not all years. Probably 1 in about 10 years is dead on. But doctors, receptionists are fucktards. On the plus side of that, they're probably dealing with, like, I haven't been to my doctors in like 10 years. If I need to go, I go. And there is a disclaimer here because My doctor's a ledge. He's actually retired. My doctor's a ledge, and he was in our rugby club. So, Dr. Flan, I don't mean it about you, but I do mean it about your receptionist. I'll never get an appointment again.
Never again.
But anyway, I don't like to stereotype, but it doesn't matter which one answers the phone. They're all fucktards, and I guarantee you can relate. And if you know somebody, you on this show, you tag them that works in a doctor's reception. I said it. You are a fucktard. There you go.
That's your closing quote?
That's my closing quote. And that, as I told you before, I'm not often wrong. So you take that to the bank.
Yeah.
And what are professions? Just while we're here, what are professions? Or what are things that annoy you?
What annoyed me this week was in the gym, probably. Going to the gym.
Going to the gym would annoy me too. I hate that.
I can see that.
For all you listening to the podcast, not seeing it, that is a very hurtful. Shaun, you can't body shame me.
Oh,
we're in a new era.
Exactly what I was thinking there now. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What do you call her? Lizzo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't shame me.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that. I'll take that all back. I didn't mean what I said there.
I'll wear a leotard next fucking week.
Yeah.
I'll be like a wee pig out of singing.
Right, but at the gym, why do people insist on going to the gym for a workout? Like, I'm there for a workout. I want to get in and out as quick as I can. They're on the treadmill, on their phones. Literally just walking. Phone.
100%.
What is that all about?
Fucking people drive 3 miles to the gym to walk on a treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking walk at home. But the phone in general, I remember one time, back when I was training, this guy sitting on the edge of the bench. He's all the dumbbells in front of him. He's sitting on his phone. You finished with that? No, 2 more sets. Well, get off your fucking phone and get them done then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
But am I wrong?
But
like,
how,
are they in doing a wee training session and then just right? That's the only time they get to foot about in their phone because they're busy
off and do it in the worse still, right? How have they let people know they're at the gym? Like, if they don't bring their phone in, they can't take pictures. Like, you know, we Instagram uploads. Aiden, you're one of these guys that do this, aren't you? You like get the bicep pump on and be like looking in the mirror and be like,
I would say
hashtag
Aiden,
it pump flex.
I would say Aiden goes down to the front of the gym, click wee photo,
selfie mirror,
just to the gym, and then gets in the car and drives away again.
But they're not the most annoying people in the gym.
Who is then?
Fucking PTs,
personal trainers,
gurus. They're not even personal trainers now. They are mind coach, empowering. Like they're gurus. These guys are, when I say guys, there's women too, but they're on a fucking other planet, genuinely on another planet.
But they're just trying to get the best out of you.
No.
They're just trying to get the best out of you.
Better than you.
Oh, they're better than you.
Do you know, like, what do you call that show where, like, dodgeball? I'm better than you, and I know it. Like, you know, you're Ben Stiller. Like, this is. I know it's a piss take, but genuinely, like, you ever see the quotes? Like this, they all sort of regurgitate the same shit, but in a different, like they package and sell. But you go on a PT's page, and at some point you will see like, you know who Shane Todd done a brilliant like piss take on this mind coach thing. But I'm after 5 professional individuals, limited spaces left. Do you want to change your life? Do you want to? And now, they're not saying that I'm going to give you a nutrition plan, I'm going to give you a couple of core exercises to do, and I want you to report to me. They're now saying, do you want mental health improved? And do you know? And now they're starting to tell people about meditation, and they're going to help you in business. So, like, I've actually seen ones that were PTs, and they've now come across to business coaches.
Business advice for you?
But well, even right. But what the fuck? And I mean this in no disrespect, because there's obviously very intelligent PTs and run very successful businesses outside of the fitness industry. But what I'm saying is, what the fuck business degree have you got? Because I'll tell you better than this. What other profession do you know? And I know I'm passionate about, and I know a lot of PTs, so this will probably be like a fucking. They'll be like, oh, he's a wine.
And you've been to a few in your day too.
But what other profession can you go and do a weekend qualification and then change your name on Facebook? If you become a doctor after 5 years and you get your doctorate, You don't run to Facebook and become Dr. O'Malley. But if you get a PT, you are O'Malley PT. Or O'Malley on... This is the better one. Online coach.
Online coach.
Do you know why that is? Because if you take someone in 1 hour, you can only take 1 hour's wage. But if you get 10 people online, you can fucking click the email and send it 10 times for the same dough. You can charge them half and you get 5 times more money.
How do I get into that?
Is mindset coaching.
How do I get into that?
I need 5 Look, guys, come to me. I may not look much like a PT, but I can coach you. But you know what I mean? Like, they're full of dung. I genuinely seen one write up. I cured my own mental health illness. Now that's dangerous. That's dangerous on a dunger level. Obviously, physical activity is one of the key ingredients to making yourself feel better. There's endorphins, there's all sort of chemical balances that if you're eating right, you're training right, you will mentally feel better. But it's very, very risky to turn around and say a mentally diagnosed illness, if somebody's got depression. He said that he cured depression. Right. Depression, a mental diagnosis, an imbalance in your mind. You cannot say it belittles people that are suffering from depression. It belittles counsellors and people who have spent their life's work, helping people. You cannot turn around and say, guys, I cured depression.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You have a massive ego, you fucking tool bag. That's what I would say to that.
Right, leave PTs alone now, would you?
There you go. Gurus, Shaun.
Gurus. Yeah. So, big shout out to all the PTs out there. Love yous.
Keep pumping the on, lads. Keep pumping the on. And none of them take gear, you know.
Oh, 100%.
They're all mahusif without gear.
Mm-hmm.
All have beards, hiding their big overgrown human growth hormone chins, but none of them take gear. Anyway, we'll edit that bit out of there. So I think we give PTs and receptionists
a good rattling.
We need positive. We need a couple of heroes. Who's the heroes? I went to the truck run the other week with the Cub, and the cost of fucking diesel now to run some of them machines up and down through the town.
But them boys love it.
Love it. There was
the tractor run and the
I
the
never seen as many check shirt, dealer boot, jaws, rock and roll.
Yeah.
My Cub loved it. He was mad about it. But fair play to them. That's the NL Loughnane Rescue and the Air Ambulance. They were both the charities that we chose for the house draw. So fair play to them. So that's a positive. There you go. We like nurses and we like doctors. We just don't like receptionists and PTs. There you go.
Done.
So Shaun, what's coming up? What's happening?
For me or for us or for what?
For us. What have we got planned?
The rallying.
Yeah.
We've recently took up rallying. Well, you have. And I am strapped into the passenger seat.
Another crazy venture that we've gone on.
So, right, that's you got her tackled and all.
Got the new car out.
Yeah,
looking well.
I was getting very excited because obviously your new car is left-hand drive.
Yeah.
And the guy who was putting the decals on it put my name on the driver's side.
I
thought it was birthday time. I was like, happy birthday to me. I've now got an R5.
If I have to drive, I'll drive.
Yeah. So, and then you had a rally at the weekend then?
Was out at the weekend.
Yeah. Does the car still look like it did before you started? Any mishaps? No?
It depends on what side you're standing at. It doesn't look exactly like it looked before, but I think it adds character.
Well, it happened.
It wasn't really my fault. It was a technical issue. The car developed a bit of a miss, and as I took my eyes off the road to look down to see if there was any indication of why this was doing this, and then I looked back up, we were heading across a field towards a barbed wire fence.
Lovely.
But we were heading straight head on for it, so it was going to hit the headlights. I was like, no, fuck me, you can't have it hit the front. It might busting into cooler or something like that. So I hit the handbrake, and I had to decide what way the car was to go. Wherever.
This has happened before. It was either my side or his side.
And I thought in a quick assessment, I thought the best thing to do was fire in the handbrake and throw her out to the right side which, as we know, is the passenger side. And I looked, a friend of mine, Keith Hall, was sitting with me, and I looked at Keith and goes, brace yourself there, Keith, lad. Because we're about to go through this fast.
There's a trend here somewhere, Owen, and I don't know what's going on, because it seemed to be the last time that the car was clipped, it was on my side, and I was sitting in it.
Aye.
Has it ever been clipped on your side? No. Has it ever been clipped on your side?
Shaun, we did hear this here. We were coming hurtling down towards this big bale, and Shaun had his arm resting on the roll bar, which he won't do again because I don't think it's a very clever idea.
And it wasn't resting on the roll bar because the roll bar was in the door. It was in between the door and the seat.
We hit the bale side on, and it pushed the door in round.
Pinched me. And
nipped him. And he fucking let a roar out of him. But the car bounced round, straightened up, and I had the shoe still in. And I goes, what's wrong with you? So we're all right. The wing mirror going over the roof of the car. And his fucking arm was black after. So, maybe that, it ran away from me on that side.
Waves, if you're watching, it was just a wee mishap. But I haven't heard this story yet.
It genuinely was funny when I we were locked up. And even with Keith after.
But you were pushing her on that rally.
Pushing her on. Fuck, I don't even know how to drive the thing. But we locked up, and he goes to Keith, brace yourself, hit her on the handbrake, through his side, straight into the barbed wire fence. He goes, wait there till the marshal comes over. The barbed wire was still hooked in around the mirror now. Wait there, the marshal's coming over. The head was gone at this point. I just sunk the boot, away we went. But I didn't lose the wing then. I lost the wing the one before it. It's a fucking funny story when you hear this here. Now, I know some of the ones might, wild wind last Saturday. I was driving down to chicane, and the wind must have just caught this bale lovely and just brought the bale across into the side of the car.
A full bale.
Bale.
And the wind just pushed it over towards you.
Because there's no way I drove into it.
So tell me, was that on your side or his side again?
No, that was the passenger side.
Oh, again? Right.
But you have to allow for the left-hand drive adjustment. I'm not used to left-hand drive.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
Why guys drive left-hand drive road cars?
To get used to that.
To get used to it.
Yeah.
Right? And I says, sure, what difference is that? Like, what do you think? And you says, oh no, sure, no bother to me. Left-hand drive. But I don't find any difference at all. But it's funny you're saying there's no difference. You have hit the wing once.
Yeah.
You've tucked the mirror. You've tucked the mirror off twice.
Yeah.
You've hit the door twice.
Yeah. And took a back bumper off.
All on
your side.
I think it's about time you get a left-hand drive road car.
But then let's look at it this way. In the Evo, which is right-hand drive, I had something.
You never, not once, not.
Oh well, there's marks up or
nope.
So she's a couple of wee.
Never on my side. I don't think there's ever been a time that you've phoned me up and says, "Look, this is what I'm thinking of doing. Do you fancy it?" And I've
said no.
As why I'm sitting here now.
If you say no, I genuinely will second. I'll have a think and say, "Fuck, you know what? Maybe this isn't a good idea." Because if he's not up for it, if he's not in, then it's maybe we've just
not the greatest of ideas.
Because let's paint the scene, and we'll not talk too much about rallying, but let's paint the scene. I say, Shaun, we're going to do our first stage rally together, the Bushwhacker, a serious rally, 120.
So the difference in the rally that we done
were
prior
doing
to
sprints,
that, and the difference in a stage rally is you're actually reading notes.
Yeah.
So the other one, you pretty much just drive it around. Nobody has to say anything, do you?
Yeah.
It's on a track.
It's a sprint and it's a closed
road. So the stage rally is.
So we head up to the forest. But before this, let's just set the scene. And we'll not discuss too much rallying in this one, but let's set the scene. This is how serious people were, right? There's 127 cars. The first 40 cars are serious £100,000 plus machines. There's big machines there, were rally cars, stuff like that. There's men flying in helicopters. We're flying in, landing in helicopters to get in the car. Me and Shaun rock up an hour and a half late. Get out of the van. Our car's sitting there. All the guys have been there all morning. And they all have their notebooks out and their pads. And me and Shaun sat down the night before, watched the DVD of the thing, and he went over the notes. There were no notes, didn't know anything. We head across there's a driver's briefing now. And the two of us go for a breakfast bob. And there we come dandering across eating a bob. And Shaun goes, what are these boys all writing? It's like, I don't fucking know. Look round, and all these boys are all sitting taking these notes and discussing different parts of the stage. And I go, Shaun, have you got that? And he goes, I don't fucking know what they're talking about. And I was like, fuck it, we'll wing it. We'll wing it. And that whole thing that day was we'll wing it. So we pull up to the first stage. I says, Shaun, look, listen, relax. If you lose where you're at, what odds? I'll not rely on everything you said. So we go down the stage, and sure enough, we were going rightly, and then you lost a wee bit.
You say into the stage, we could have been 3 corners in. I don't even know. And I could be like, where the hell am I at on this thing?
But we were only driving at this point, so we weren't going hard. And I said to him, look, he was getting annoyed at the end of the stage. He goes, I fucking lost that, blah, blah, blah. I says, well, hey, we're straight into the next one. I goes, you can fucking cry about that one, or we'll go. But he goes, just before we started the stage, he turns to me and he goes, I think there's wild jumps on this stage. I was like, what? Nah, I don't think you're right. Oh no, he says, I seen pictures, there's fucking cars in the air. Like, fuck. I wish I had watched the video now, because I was fucking starting to shake myself thinking, where the fuck is this? Come round the start of the stage, lit in 5th gear, double caution, bang, fucking cars flying through the air. I was like, Shaun, I think that's the jumps we were talking about.
But hey, some deadly photos over that too.
John is brilliant.
Photos here. Aidan, get them in.
Boom. But towards the end of the day, we got on all right.
Yeah. But the thing was, on, we went there and I didn't know what I was doing. Quickly got on with it.
Still not 100% sure we know what we're doing.
But we had a deadly day's crack.
Great day's crack. Car came home.
That's what it was all about.
Car came home. So no, it was good day's crack. But what have you got on?
This weekend.
You're off it.
Yeah, off the rink. Took an ocean.
Took the notion.
Took an ocean like a week's back, and I just was like, done.
Are you a better person now? Are you enlightened? Are you better than me? I
didn't want to bring it up, Owen, but yes.
Do you look down your nose at me?
No, it just was one of them things. I just was like, it's not doing anything for me anymore.
And you were at a wedding last week?
Wedding last weekend,
Was there no tester there, no?
No, nothing. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not... That's me never drinking again. I had a glass of wine with dinner. Lovely. Real nice glass of wine with dinner. Red wine, lovely. And then I tried out the old...
Wait a minute. You're not then off the drink, like.
If you had one glass...
I don't want to be a dick about this, right? But, you know, if you turn around and say, I'm a virgin, I had a quickie the other night.
Oh, just in the once?
I dipped it in and took it back out. It's not the same. So,
Aidan, can you edit that wee bit out? See, even as the finger went in back out again, right?
Sound effect.
Right.
We're going to do a sound effect. Shaun sent me a voice note the other day, and it was his young way, and I'm going to play it for you now. So,
Get yourself on one.
So, Shaun, telling the wife you're going to do a podcast. There's a look, guys. For all you out there, you do not understand the internal battle me and Shaun's now going to have. Telling old yarns, messing about, telling old school stories, may get us in a bit of bar when we get home.
That's why I can't wait to get somebody on so we can talk about them instead of us.
Do you think we could go home to the wives and say, the rule is you don't listen to it now?
Nope.
If we done it our way round, right? Say, oh, what do you think of this week? You know, knowing they didn't fucking listen. We do reverse psychology. We play them.
Do you think that's going to work?
I don't know the best way to play it. But I do know one thing. If you fucking bring up a lot of things here, you know, be a hero here now. Fucking for the lads sitting smiling and fucking one's out there. It could be a cold dinner. It could be a cold fucking... You could be sitting there with...
Well, I'll let you do all the talking.
No, you know...
Sure. I'll keep on. I'm going to use this pun. I'll keep poking the bear. Go on, tell me that story. Poking the bear.
I'll give you a quick wee caption of me and Shaun's bro code. When we were younger, a lot younger than the legal age for driving, we had a wee Volvo 340 GL. She was a powerful yoke. She wouldn't pull your dick out straight. But we had this wee car and we drove the back roads. And the deal was, if Shaun's ma caught us, it was my car. And if my ma caught us, it was his car. It was not my fault that my ma caught us.
But the only part of that story is that whenever you're saying that bro code was there, as in...
That was the plan.
Right? That plan was never discussed with me.
I felt like
this
plan,
unspoken. It was unspoken. This plan was spoke to me whenever we were sitting in your sister Emma's house again. in her house, and your mum rocks in, and Sheila says, "Who the fuck owns the car?" Right? And her,
my mum's from London, so
right?
Sean's
Who
giving
the fuck owns the car?
Sean.
Sean's.
Listen,
Literally
Sean.
sunk me straight away, and I was like, I don't know what to say now. Right? So you were taken home by your mum, and I had to try to get the car out the road then. Hide it out the road.
I felt like we had discussed that.
But then that stopped us from doing that again, didn't it?
Oh, 100%. Never
Never done that again.
Can you do like a nose effect? But look, so that's the code we have. So if Danielle goes mad at me, I will blame Sean. If Tanya goes mad at her, we'll blame Sean. I mean, you can blame me.
So I can blame both ways.
So guys, look, listen, that is our first podcast. Obviously, we're having a bit of crack and filling you in on what to expect, what's to come up. We're going to have some free giveaways. We're going to have an actual holiday, a trip to Rome. It's up for grabs. We're going to do a few other things, and we will have people on, and it won't just be us talking shite. It will be other people talking shite with us. You will get us in, Sean, where will you get us in?
You will get us on Apple. You will get us on Spotify.
Apple.
You will get us on Stitcher.
Sean,
I don't know what Stitcher
Sean
is. I just
Stitcher. We'll also be on YouTube. So look, guys, if you're still listening at this point, thank you very much. And if you can give it a wee like and share and subscribe to our podcast, we will be eternally grateful. Also, if you're here on here saying, look at these two fuckers, good luck to you too. We'll see you next week.
over and out, bitches.